back to Analytics Home. In this video, I'll be talking about the map function in Python. The map function applies a given function to all items in an input list. So if, for instance, you have a list of elements, or maybe a tuple, or maybe a dictionary, and then you want to apply a specific function to each of those elements in the list or tuple or dictionary, you can use the map function to do that, and returns a map object. It actually returns a map object. You can use a list to return the actual elements after the functions have been applied. I'll do that in an example. This is particularly useful for transforming data in a list or any iterable. So a parameter in a map. So the map has two parameters, which is the function and then the iterable. Let me do an example to explain this better. So if, for instance, we have a function that help find the square root of numbers. That finds the square of numbers. If you don't know how to define functions in Python, I'll drop the link in the description down below for you to watch a video on how to go about this. Then return num multiplied by num to get the square root. So if, for instance, I have a list of numbers, let me say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and go on, and then I want to find the square root of all these numbers one by one. I can use the map function to do that. So the parameters in the map function is 1. The function is square. Alright, the function square, and then the iterables. The iterables is numbers. Okay, the iterables is numbers. If I run this, I'll get a map object. So this is a map object where the information, the result is stored. To see the result as a list, to see the actual values, convert this to a list. So if I run this, the result has been shown. Okay, so you can actually do this same thing using the Lambda function to replace the square function. Let me see. So let's write our list and then map. Then you can create a Lambda function. If you want to know more about the Lambda function, I will drop a link down below for you to understand the Lambda function properly. So Lambda x, which is the value we want to square root. Lambda x, what we want to do is x multiplied by x. Okay, so this is our function. This is our function, and then this is the iterables. We'll still use the numbers as iterables. So if we run this, get exactly the same elements. So this is basically how to do it. And then we can as well use this map function to convert a list of strings to integer. Let's do that. So for instance, if I have num, it's a list of string, let me say 1, comma 2, comma 3. Let me end at this. For instance, I have a list of numbers like that. I want to convert this to integer. Say list map int the function will be the integer, and then apply it to the iterables. No, so this has been changed to converted to integer. So the next thing I'll show you is map multiple iterables. So you can actually iterate over multiple lists. So let me say, for instance, I have num1 as 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then I have num2 as, let me say, 2, 4, 6, 8, whatever. Okay, now I want to perform a multiplication operation on these two lists. To do that, map, use the lambda. I'll call out two arguments, and then the expression will now be x multiplied by b, comma, first iterable and the second iterable. So if you run this, you get the multiplication of 2 times 1, 2 times 4, and so on and so forth. Okay. So the next thing I'll show you is how to convert a list of strings to uppercase. So if, for instance, I have let me say I have word as equal to, let me say, in G, let me say prince, and then I want to convert this to an uppercase. I want to convert this to an uppercase. To do that, list map, and then the function will be string upper, string.upper, and then I want to convert the word to it. So if I run this, all the strings have been converted to uppercase. So another thing I'd love to show you is applying this to a list of dictionary. Okay, let's apply to a list of dictionary. So for instance, if I have a dictionary, for instance, that contains the name of let me say shoe, and then price, let me say 42, then quantity, let me say 2. Then I have another list containing, let me say, name, beers, price, say 53. Let me say quantity is 7. For instance, I have a list like this, and then I want this list to just multiply the price and the quantity. So I'll define my function. Let me say total of specific dictionary, and then what I want to return is norm, the price multiply by the quantity. This is what I want to do with this list. Okay, then let me apply my map function. So I'll call the function total and then the name of the iterable. Okay, the function and the name of the iterable. So if I run this, 84, which is this times this, 84, and this times this. So this is basically how to use the map function using the lambda, the iterating over a dictionary. Thank you very much for watching this video. See you in our next video. Bye.